Really, it comes down to is just how to communicate to a human. I think this is a conversation that needs to be had because it's not a common conversation. We train our staff on the activities to sell and service a vehicle. Hopefully we coach them through their efforts, but we don't really sit down and help them develop out their communication efforts.
Thank you. Very hot, okay? Maybe that's two side plates. And I'll bring some extra napkins too, that always helps. I like that.
Inviting my guests seated in comfort.
Did you notice? I always notice all the time. Did you notice for tonality?
Flight 401 to Vegas, you're A76.
Can I get some plates? It's super simple. Just say yes, absolutely. I can get you some plates. But no, the body language, the tonality, the eyes. It's just like you want to show someone that you truly have the intent to serve another person.
Doorway A77 for Austin, Texas.
So they're already boarding?
No. Really?
You're ready for boarding for Austin, doorway A77.
Yeah, that's us.
Mr. Hart, you can go ahead and board when you're ready.
Our goal and objective anymore shouldn't be to get our customers onto this mysterious road and have them walk it, right? It should be about asking them how they want to create the path of purchase. Some people are going to want to do it super fast. Others are want to take their time and do their research and do their shopping. So it's not a one size fits all. That's funny. I keep saying that. It kind of seems to be the overall theme of everything, both in marketing and operations right now, is that it's not a one size fits all kind of a thing.
So we were talking a little bit about how that road to the sale is dead. At the core of that being dead, it's all about, forcing customers into a direction, herding them like cattle. Since we're in Texas, we might as well use that analogy, right? Herding them like cattle. But it's not just our sales process that does that. One of the biggest problems we have in our industry with that is our pay plans. Our pay plans are literally designed to direct you to certain products. I mean, look, if a salesperson makes a percentage of the gross profit, there are certain cars that have higher gross profit than others. That doesn't necessarily mean that car is going to be the best car or it's going to be in the best interest of the consumer. We expect our pay plans to give our staff direction. Like, we don't actually have to sit down and get to know each one of them or develop out personal growth plans of any kind, because the pay plan will do it for us. Oh, shit, that's good. I do like a good cocktail. We love talking about strategy. Think how much strategy got put into that drink. How many mistakes? Boy, that would have been fun. Try this. Not so good. Okay, we'll finish it. All right, how about try this one? Not so good. Finish it. How about this one? Wait a second. How many of you had? When a bartender takes their craft to that next level and creates a flavor profile that never existed before, that amount of time and passion, it comes out really obvious in the drink. You know what I mean? Because you're like, wow, I've never had that before. I didn't even know those two flavors actually worked well with each other. There are people in our industry that do take that same time and attention, but it's just not, it's not so obvious. You know what I mean? It doesn't come out like this, right? It's still gonna come out in the form of picking up a car, or the form of servicing a car, right? But I still think that people do notice that passion, that attention to detail. I think people are pretty intuitive about passion and intent, and you kind of know it. I think as a consumer, you know it when you're getting it, and you know when you're not getting it, right? Think of a taco, okay? At best, there's 6 to 8 main ingredients. That's it, like ever, right? And then a handful of different proteins. But every single taco is gonna taste different. Some are going to be, look, there's a Taco Bell taco, and then there's this place taco, okay? It's still a taco, all right? But, this one's gonna give you the runs, this one's gonna bring you to your happy place, right? I mean, it's just...
Quality of ingredients.
It's the quality of the ingredients. It's the time that gets put into it. And really what we're trying to do is that's what we mean. In your marketing efforts, it's all the same ingredients, okay? Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, YouTube ads, but it's just how you use those ingredients. It's the experience in using the ingredients that actually makes the bigger difference, right? And that was kind of earlier when we were on the plane and we were talking about the difference in creative, and how like even that, a multi-million-dollar traded company, ADT, I watched them do that Instagram story ad and the creative was shit, just total garbage. But the cool thing is that creative has now become more of a level playing field, Like if you actually take the time, you can put out equally, if not better creative than multi-million-dollar companies out there. Well, because they're still processing the old school way, like let me build a commercial, and they're not contextually building content to the platform. Clearly, whoever made that story ad for ADT has never used Instagram themselves. It was like this much screen, okay, the video was this small, and then text was this big. Like, the consumer can taste the difference in your marketing efforts. They know if you're putting in the effort or if you're not putting in the effort, right? For a big company like that to not put in the effort to make creative contextual to the platform, people are gonna know that shit. Hell yeah! Oh, dude, I'm in my happy place right now. Okay, this is my happy place. Like real homemade tacos, good, nice, crisp Mexican beer. Like Jason's in his happy place. That's the kicker, right? I think there's a lot of businesses out there that do have passion around what they do. Unfortunately, they do a shit job of telling that story. So then no one ever actually gets to share in that passion until they've done a transaction with them. So, it's like our goals as marketers, right, is to try to bottle up that passion in a way that we can put it out for the rest of the world to experience without having to go the full extent of doing the transaction. But it's like, oh my gosh, like that's what I want. I want to taste this. Let me come into the business to get the full deal. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Clinton.
Hey.
Awesome, Jason.
Hey, man, nice to meet you.
It's just two of you this time?
Yeah, Dane said he's going to swing by a little later. Dane.
Xavier?
Right now, I think in the industry, we're hearing a lot about voice and how voice can change many different verticals, but hasn't been a lot of talk on how voice could potentially change the automotive industry. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on how you perceive voice potentially changing the way we market or the way we handle our day-to-day operations.
I mean, primarily voice search is still like, Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, give me the address of such and such. Vehicles it's a aesthetic business. You can't be like, Alexa, describe to me the Elantra, and unless she has a sultry voice like, the Elantra is curvy, and it's a visual business. So I don't think it's ever going to get to the point where people are going to go through a process and go, Alexa, buy me the Hyundai Elantra, and it's like, okay, here, what about you the Hyundai Elantra? It's always going to be they're going to want to see the vehicles, interact with them. People are never going to be solely reliant on a disembodied voice. They're going to want to, maybe they'll use it for their research and get different tech and features and things, but they're never going to go through the full process of this digital retailing through voice search. There's always going to be extra steps that they'll want to go through. Plus, I mean, if you're optimizing your website, you're using SEO, you're using other things to make sure that you rank. I mean, typically the search results come from those top rankings. So if you're doing proper digital marketing, you're going to be part of those returns.
I know a couple companies right now that have service apps already built into the dealership, and they're looking at from an opportunity of how they can connect that to either Alexa or Siri and just say, Alexa, schedule my car for service. Because the app already has that information, it seems like that could be that very first step where we're going to start seeing voice actually utilized in a dealership's day-to-day operations, right?
It's easy for us to make the technology the devil because it takes the focus off of the real problem, which is us not caring enough about our people. Like, goes back to what you said. We've got to care enough to go have that conversation to know, okay, what is if TJ worked for me, which would be a miracle, but if he did, like for me to sit down with you every day. Like, remember the day when we were taught to have one-on-ones every day, right? Joe Verdi taught that in the 80s. It was one of the very few things that is still 100% relevant today that he said, right? Every day. How often should you have a daily one-on-one? Every day. How long does it last? 15 minutes. You talk about 3 things. Tell me what you did yesterday. Tell me the game plan today. And then the third thing was always supposed to be, what do you need from me to help you succeed? And a lot of us, we don't do that. Instead, what we do is we stand over our salesperson every day going, what do you got working? 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 How many? They're not 4 years old, right? Like, we need to care enough about them to go, okay, how do I empower you? How do I show you I care? I do the daily one-on-ones. I go, hey, TJ, 12 months from now, let's sit down and do your goals. Let's write down, like, for the next 60 seconds or 3 minutes, write down every single thing you want to accomplish. Okay, now narrow it down to the top 10. Okay, now circle the top 3. Okay, put those in order. Now that I know those, if his is like, hey, man, I want to go on a Hawaiian vacation with my honey. Okay, how much does that cost? Well, that costs 15 grand. Okay, cool. Now we can take the numbers and the data from, how many handshakes, how many test drives, how many write-ups, to how many sales, and I can back that math out and go, okay, to help you 12 months from now take that $15,000 trip, here's how many more hands, how many more test drives. Yep. But we don't know what powers our people because we don't want to sit down for 15 minutes because we might reveal that we don't have a fucking clue how to be a good leader.
That we keep talking about how as an industry we need to be more customer centric, right? We got to be more customer centric in our operations, in our processes, in our communications, in our marketing, but then we still maintain pay structures that are 40 fucking years old and are in no way or form customer centric at all.
And if you're not willing to make those changes and make those commitments, it doesn't matter how good the bright and shiny object potentially could be or should be, it's not going to work for you because you're not willing to make the changes or the internal investments that you need to make into making those tools work.
Dealerships is why I think a lot of dealers, talking about the why they're in business, they focus too much on sort of like the superficial, like we're family owned and operated. That's great. I really commend you that you've done as a small business owner, genuinely. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody comes to your dealership because you're family owned and operated since 1970. A lot of dealers overlook the obvious whys. Like we work with a dealer who donates and who does charities, raises tens of thousands of dollars for children with cancer. There's your why. You spend your whole year raising that money. Why isn't that on every single digital asset? Why isn't that in your showroom? Why isn't there some sort of banner or something that indicates that? Why every single ad you run, why don't you have the little children's hospital logo in the bottom corner? Like, why isn't that part of your digital assets? So I think dealers need to find their why and define it beyond sort of those, stock standard definitions of who they are.
And I think what's important is that dealerships realize that the why buy here is not just a marketing message. And TJ, to your point, it gives your operations a direction. It's not just you deliver a car. It's the reason why you deliver the car, the way that we've defined you should deliver that car, right? The way that we want, you're not answering the phone just to answer the phone, right? The reason you're answering the phone that way is because it's defined by why we actually do what we do. Thank you everyone for watching this and who are listening to this. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to jam with me.